slowed down. And so we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, everyone, for those who don't know me or my name's not popping up on the screen, my name is Shane. I am on the board of the Metro Detroit Athletic Officials Association and kind of help get things sorted out. Tonight, though, before we get and turn it over to Bob Foss and Tony Boulay to kind of help go through the test questions this year, I'm going to hit some nuts and bolts reminders. So the most important one coming up is MIGS. The last date to make sure we're all up to date on our MIGS members in good standing is the 15th. I have another reminder going out tomorrow to the association via email to check. Now, this year, the MHSAA threw us a little bit of a curveball and they updated their website. And when they did that, the link in the system to where we update stuff for who's a MIGS member wasn't talking to the new website. And so when Mike told me, yeah, Shane, everybody's up to date, and I sent out that email, we started to get some emails like, why am I not showing up as a MIGS? And long story short, it was an IT issue at the MHSAA level. We helped them discover that. They updated it, but now everything should be up to date. And for everybody's benefit, I'm going to do a quick screen share and just kind of show everybody how to do that. So very quickly, this is the new website. It's the same information, but it looks a little different and it takes a little bit of getting used to, especially if you're used to the other website and page, from a long time ago. Okay, so I've already logged in, but if I hadn't logged in, you would go in here and you would type in your login credentials. But now that I am logged in, I go to my MHSAA tools and it brings me to this page. And I click down here, drop down box, official services. And there's a lot of other different officials services there, but you go to official services. This is where you need to upload your availability and conflicts for the postseason. This is where, after we go through the meeting tonight for the exam, where you would go and you would actually log in and click the exam. If you're a crew chief, this is where you would manage your crew, who's on it, your ratings, if you want to know your ratings, officials directory, if you need to look a fellow official up, how to write a report, attend a rules meeting, which we all should have by now, adding our schedule, and also like sportsmanship, football positions, all that kind of thing. So this is the main way to get to it. And so I'll do it again real quick from the beginning. My MHSAA, you log on, my MHSAA tools, drop down box, official services, and now we're back here. All right, so let's check MIGS. Now, if you were seeing it before, you might have said, oh yeah, I'm registered for football and basketball already. For MIGS, we're good. Well, that was probably 2021 and 2022. So I really, really strongly recommend to everybody to please double check, just in case. And that's how you do it. And so other than that, for MIGS, the last date is September 15th. No discretion after that. We cannot do anything after that fact. Everything else, it's, I believe, about a week later. And there should be some emails from Brent Rice and the MHSAA on that exact date. I believe, unless somebody knows off the top of their head, I believe it's the 21st. But again, take this opportunity now while you're looking at MIGS to upload everything else into the system. Other than that, I'm going to give a PSA announcement for Bob Check. Keep your arbiter up to date. It's a work in progress. Be patient. And I saw Bob there, and I don't know if any other assigners are on, but I'm going to just stop sharing my screen right now, and I'm going to oh, looks like it's already stopped sharing the screen. There we go. I'm going to turn over to Bob, see if Bob has anything he kind of would like to share, any announcements. I don't see Gary Wagenschutz or anybody else on here. But Bob, you got anything other than kind of what I went over?
Can you hear me, Shane?
We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, everything you said is pretty much on top of things. Just keep Robert up to date. Let's just kind of move forward here. Just one quick thing. If you work any games at any of the Livonia schools or Novi, they have a 40-second clock on the field. And I would respectfully ask that the back judge control that. It's a handheld thing. They paid $4,000 for these clocks. So anybody that works those games at those schools, please be prepared to have your back judge have the control for the 40-second clock in their hand and control it during the course of the game. That came right from the AD. So please be prepared to do that if you work at any of those schools. Other than that, just keep things up to date. If there's anything I can do to help you, feel free to call me, and we'll just keep moving forward here.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Bob. With that said, I'm not one for many words, and I think we got everything covered as far as the nuts and bolts. Again, take care of your business. Crew chiefs, double check your crews, make sure that they've taken care of their business, that kind of thing. And email Shram if there seems to be any confusion or any issues about the MIGS status. If you're not listed as MIGS and you think you should be, etc.
Hey, Shane, I have one quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Apologize. As a crew chief, if you go to the officials directory, would it show you an updated status for what association your guys are in?
You know something, that is a good question. I am going to check it out real quick here. And I am going to look up somebody who I know who should be logged in. It shows your association affiliation. What I'm not 100% sure on is if that association affiliation on the officials directory corresponds to being a member in good standing. That I'm not 100% sure about. I'm going to guess that it does, but I'm not 100% sure about that. This is a good question that we can check with the MHSAA as far as the new system and transferring over to the new website goes. Okay. Well, with that, that's not a bad transition. Bob, Tony, I'll turn it over to both of you. And again, just let me know and we can start like going through the questions and I'll load it up as we want to do it.
Okay, Bob, you wanna take the reins or you want me to talk? Doesn't matter.
Go ahead, you got that fancy headset.
Yeah, right. Okay, everybody, we're gonna run through these really quickly because we can't spend too much time per question. There may be a couple where opinions are divided, so we can have a short discussion on some of those. But otherwise, we're gonna give you the question, and then you're just gonna respond in a poll as to what the answer is, and we'll show you the poll result for each question. So without further ado, Shane, if you could boot up the first one.
And for the 50 of us that are on here, if we could get it at least 40 plus respondents per question would be great, as opposed to just not giving an answer.
Yeah, so B1 hits runner A2 after A2 is out of bounds. A2 reacts by roughly knocking down B1. B3 then shoves A2 to the ground, and then it gives the references. So we've got 3 dead ball fouls, 2 by 1 team. What happens?
Now, I don't know what you are seeing, but I'm seeing the poll results and I see them coming in. We're up to 23 respondents and we have a few more trickling in and they're still coming in.
Yeah, once you get a satisfactory number, you should be able to display poll results.
Yeah. And you all are at least seeing the question.
We see the question and we can submit the answer.
With the options of answers. All right, we're up to 35 of 49. And I know I am not one of the respondents because I don't have the option to click it. But it looks like we're stalled out at 35, so I will end the poll.
Pretty close.
And I'm going to share results.
Oh,
Okay.
Bob, you want to discuss that one real quick?
Well, the majority rules in this case. In I, you know what, let me see if I wrote the rule reference down in my notes. Unfortunately, I didn't, but it looks like the MHSA has afforded us that. But in Rule 10, you'll find that when there are multiple dead ball fouls, the same number of dead ball fouls cancel, and then anything that's left still gets enforced. And I think that's what we have here, right?
Yeah, just remember, because A and B, you could argue are kind of the same thing, because you say, okay, you go forward, backwards, now you've offset that first one, and then you enforce the third one, right? But what we don't want to have happen is to blow off all of them and say everything offsets, because they're dead ball fouls. You can't ignore an odd number of dead ball fouls. So
There you
the answer is B.
Next.
And while I'm doing that, I just got a text message and they did confirm that if you have an association next to your name on the officials directory, you are MIGS in at least one sport with that association. And with it being the beginning of the school year, if you're listed as MDAO, you're at least listed as football. So, all
Perfect.
right,
Thanks, Shane.
you bet.
Because we don't do volleyball, right?
Some guys do.
But I mean, as an association, you wouldn't be MIGS as a volleyball official in the MDAO.
Okay, let's do the second question.
Yeah.
This one's kind of screwy.
No, wait, and poll.
Yeah, you want to launch that second one.
Right.
Hello, Jack.
Okay, in the poll. So, oh, I see. Okay, thank you. Got it. Here we go. Drop down box.
Yep. Okay, 4th and 12 at Team A's 18, K1 punts. R2 gives a valid fair catch signal at K's 40-yard line. R2 does not touch the ball, which strikes the ground at Team K's 44-yard line. And then at the 46, R2 blocks K3 in the back above the waist. R4 recovers the ball at K's 48-yard line. The penalty for R2's foul is enforced from 1, A, B, or C.
What's the basic spot?
Yeah, this one's coming in fast and furious here. This looks like, I think most people maybe know the answer to this one. All right, a couple more seconds.
Interesting. Interesting
And
question too.
because it looks like we have consensus on this one, I'm going to stop it at this point.
Yep.
And share the results.
Well done.
The trick here is, while it is a block in the back, the foul here is that the player who signaled for a fair catch blocked before the kick ended, which is why it's 15 yards instead of 10.
Well, that's question 3, Bob.
Okay.
No way, Barry.
No jumping ahead.
We good on this one? I think everybody kind of understand. I think most people understand this one. So, all right.
Yeah, you don't move up. It's the basic spot is where the kick ended at the 48.
All right, here we go. Question number
Cheated.
3.
Everybody knows it's 15 yards.
I heard some whispering that they may have changed that for clarity because the rule reference wasn't there for 15 yards, that they may have changed the actual answer to 10. Does anybody know that to be a fact? Because
No.
when I took the test, 15 yards was the correct answer.
The bulletin states that they changed that to be 10 yards.
They did or did not?
Did.
They
They
did.
Yep.
Yeah,
They did.
because a block in the back is 10 yards with those rule references, but in this particular scenario, the block in the back occurred after a valid fair catch signal,
And
which makes it 933
Bill
for
McCoy,
15 yards.
Bill put a message out about that too, by the way.
It's a 15-yard penalty for an illegal block. Is what you can't block after you've signaled. That's what the penalty is.
and before the end of the kick.
Huh?
You can't block after you've signaled before the end of the kick.
Correct. And that's a 15-yard penalty.
They corrected it.
Not a personal foul, is it?
No,
It's
Illegal,
not.
illegal block, 10 yards.
Yes, 10 yards. Bill McCoy put a message out about that.
Yeah, and quote, question, there is some confusion regarding question number 3.
They do.
Simple clerical error. The penalty for an illegal block in the back is 10 yards and not 15. Scores will be updated to reflect the correction. So for some reason you already submitted it. You know, it was
I wish I'd have read that email because
wait
that's
a minute
wrong.
now.
That's a
You know-
wrong clarification, an
Yeah.
incorrect clarification.
Guys, this is,
The
Can't
the penalty,
there's
you know-
there's a casebook play for specifically for this that talks about guys signaling and then blocking. And it doesn't matter whether it's any kind of block, doesn't matter whether it's in the back or in the front. You can't signal and block. If you do, it's a penalty. It's 15 yards.
yes, Jack is correct.
So I mean, I don't know what they're doing. They changed a whole bunch of things in the first iteration of this test. And they switched things around and they got in different orders and everything else. So it's frustrating, but
yep,
you can answer it any way you want. But the correct answer when you work the game, it's 15 yards. If he signals and then blocks. My humble opinion.
Well, there's no opinion there. You're
Yeah, it's not an
100%
opinion,
correct.
right.
That's by rule. 651 is the rule reference there.
Yep, 651. Yeah, regardless of what, you know, the quote unquote correct answer is for the question or the clerical error, how it was rewritten or that kind of thing. Let's just be aware the proper rule reference given the scenario.
Yeah,
Next question.
let's do it right, no matter what the test says.
Exactly. All right, moving on. Question number 4, launching.
Team A has the ball, 2nd and 9 at its own 21-yard line. A1 advances to Team A's 28-yard line and fumbles. Ball bounces high into the air. B2 leaps, grabs the ball while he's airborne, and returns to the ground, touching the sideline at Team A's 30-yard line. As a result, what do we got?
All right. 30%. 50%. Usually give it about a minute. And I think we're looking good here.
Hey, Shane, I have a question.
Yes.
I've already taken tests, got the score back, all that kind of stuff. If I click on the answer on these things, is it going to somewhere? Is it? go-
No, this is not linked to anything on the MHSA website.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
good-
All right. All right.
That's a good question. If you've already taken the test, feel free to, still click on here and have a little bit of fun with us. You can help guide us to the right answer, or at least me as I see the poll results come.
And if I could interject something real quick, as administrators, we know that we don't know what any individual answer.
Correct.
So please respond honestly. Just because we want to because if there's a misunderstanding on a rule, we want to correct it.
Yep. So
Okay.
even if you're not
You're-
100% sure, still click on what you think is the correct answer.
You're
because
not gonna look smart or dumb. This is just an exercise for
Nope.
the whole association.
Yep. Because if most people log in, answer it, and answer incorrectly, that lets us know we need to maybe spend a little bit more time in it. But if only 2 people respond and those 2 people answer it correctly, that doesn't really give us a good idea on whether or not we need to discuss the answer. So, all right, here we are.
And B is the correct answer.
That looks like that one was pretty well understood. All right, moving on. 3, 2, 1, launch.
3rd and 7 at Team A's 23-yard line. A1's forward pass is intended for eligible A2 at Team A's 35-yard line. B3 is flagged for defensive pass interference. Despite the interference, A2 makes the catch and carries the ball across Team B's goal line. What do you got? This came up last year. I know. I mean, in a couple games.
Yeah, yes, it did.
Yeah,
So this
I
is-
know. I know, Jack, because you were the one that was. that
Nobody
had
wanted to believe me.
it.
Some of these questions can often feel academic in nature, but every now and then, these uncommon scenarios do happen, and it's good to go.
Well, I think there's one scenario in here that probably will never happen. I think you know which one I'm talking about, right?
Probably.
All right.
Who's gonna choose who kicks off?
And here are those responses.
quote,
Here are those.
guys all know the rules.
I got it. There we go. All right. It looks like most, I got this one correct. Yes.
Didn't
Oh,
I didn't see it. I didn't see it
There
pop
we are,
up.
sorry.
There it is.
Sure.
Okay. Yep.
Hopefully we don't screw that one up.
Yep.
A defensive foul on any score, the offended team has a choice after the on the extra point or the kickoff or the ensuing kickoff.
For everybody who answered A, they're using the NCAA rule book instead of the.
Yeah, that's how it used to be, or that was a lot of people's understanding a long time ago.
Yep. Is there for example, let's say it was defensive holding. That would still, that could still be applied, right? It's not just the fact that it's defensive pass interference.
Yeah, any defensive live ball penalty during a scoring play.
Yep. All right. All right. Looks like most of us are on track. Moving on. Question number 6.
2nd and 7 at Team B's 32-yard line. Eligible receiver A1 is airborne near the sideline when he receives and has firm control of a legal forward pass at Team B's 18-yard line. B2 pushes A1 so that he first touches out of bounds. At no time does A1 lose control of the ball. This was a rule change about 6 years ago. I'll give you a hint on that.
All right. I see it coming in, and my reactions don't match with anything that you're seeing. I'm going to end this one early. It sounds like, looks like we have a good firm understanding of this one, I believe.
Rock and roll.
Yeah. All right. So again, that was B. And by the way, the letters and the answers on these questions match as they match the PDF version, and those match what's on the actual exam that you click on the MHSAA website. They used to try to trick us by moving the answers around and stuff, but answer A here matches answer A on the PDF, matches answer A on the MHSAA system.
But if you have trust issues like me, you might want to read them all the answers anyways.
Hey, trust but verify, right, Tony?
Exactly.
All right, question number 7.
4th and 10 at Team R's 25-yard line. Team K's field goal attempt is blocked. The ball does not cross the neutral zone. K1 recovers the ball at Team B's Team R's 30-yard line, advances and is down at the R12. The next down will be at where?
All right, this one's moving at a decent clip, and it looks like there's a high amount of consistency, so I'm going to end the poll. Or consensus, excuse me.
Looks good. Next.
All right, moving on. Question 8. And by the way, if regardless of whether or not there's consensus, if anybody wants a quick explanation of why for some questions, that's okay. We're doing good as far as the clock goes tonight. Question number 8.
Or you know, if you hesitant to admit to having the wrong answer here, you can call Jack and he'll walk you through getting the right answer and why it is that.
Yes, he will.
Or yes, I'm volunteering Jack, but realistically, I'm happy to talk about football rules anytime anybody feels like calling.
Yeah.
Same here. I may have to look it up, but same here. Question 8, 1st and 10 at Team A's 30-yard line. A1 catches a legal forward pass and advances to Team B's 35-yard line, where he is downed. While the pass was in flight, linebacker B2 grasped and twisted the face mask of guard A3. So what happens in that scenario? There's only 2.
I'm going to let this one, we're up to a minute. I'm going to let this, we're at 50% participation, but this one has mixed results.
I bet it does.
If anybody is waiting to should I throw my hat to the ring, throw your hat into the ring on this one. This one looks like this one would be a good conversation topic. All right, we're at about 36 out of 37 out of 49. All right, we're at 80+%. I think that's pretty good.
Oh.
Yep. Bob, Tony, take it away.
Oh, I mean, the only thing I'd have to say is that we have a loose ball situation, and where's the enforcement spot in a loose ball situation? It would be the previous spot.
The timing of the foul is what matters. So, you know, if we're on the field and this happens and you throw a flag, you have to know where the ball is at the time the foul occurs. It's loose ball because the ball is actually in the air as opposed to after it had already been caught.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
Tony said, the previous spot is the enforcement spot.
Yeah. And as far as communication goes, and not all of us might have 5, 10, 15, 20 years on the football field.
Yep.
But when in doubt, even if you don't necessarily know the rule and the application of it and things like this, give information. You know, the number, who twisted the face mask and when did it occur? Was it the offense or the defense that committed the penalty? What was the penalty? Give information, and as a crew, we can help, make sure it gets the rule gets applied correctly.
You know, if you don't know the timing of the foul and where the ball is. Typically, when you get, 3 or 4 or 6 other guys from the crew together, we can figure out the timing.
So the correct answer for this one would be then B.
Yep.
Anybody have any questions on that one? That was a good one. Question 9. Here we go.
Okay, 2nd and 20 at team A's 20-yard line. A1 drops back to pass. B2 holds eligible receiver A3 at team A's 35-yard line. With no receiver open, A1 is downed at his own 10-yard line. The next play will be.
This looks like another good question here.
It's a tricky one. I mean, you have to rely on the rule instead of common sense, which is counterintuitive.
Yeah, and I think it's a good example of having an understanding of the rule itself.
And make sure when you're watching football on Saturday afternoon that you don't memorize their penalty enforcement and let that seep into our penalty enforcement on Friday night.
And for those of you who also ref on Saturday, I don't know how some of you guys doing both college and high school keep it all straight. All right, here we go. We're at about 80%.
Wow.
All right, walk us through the application of the rules and the rule references, and maybe start us off with what is the correct answer.
The correct answer is C, 2nd and 20 for team A from its own 20-yard line. My understanding of the rule is that regardless of where the run ends, it is the end of the run. We don't have a reverse all but one principle on a defensive penalty. It is simply the enforcement spot is the end of the run.
Well said.
So if it was 2nd and 20 and the runner for team A gains 5 yards and there was a defensive holding on that second down play, you
It'll
will
be
go
2nd and
up.
5.
It would then turn out to be 2nd and 5 because you're applying that defensive holding call from the end of the run, which, happened to be a 5-yard gain. Whereas this one, it was a 10-yard loss. And so important rule mechanism.
Yeah, so this play ends up with the next snap being from the previous spot, but we're still enforcing the 10-yard penalty, just to be clear.
The actual previous spot is immaterial. It's coincidental.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so really, when the coach is kind of confused and wondering why he, isn't going up 10 yards, that kind of a thing, and say, coach, because it was the play ended in a run, we have to take it from the end of the run, whatever it was, that happened to have been, in your case, a loss. And we added the 10 yards onto that loss, but you still have 2nd down, call your play. All right. Good question. That was a good one. All right.
This one should be interesting as well.
Ooh. All right.
This one they actually changed the answer.
Yeah. All right. Here you go then. Question number 10.
4th and 5 at team B's 30-yard line. A1 fumbles at team B's 20-yard line. The ball rolls forward to team B's 16-yard line, where B2 bats the ball forward. Although the ball rolls out of bounds at team B's 6-yard line. What do you got?
Did you say bats the ball forward?
Well, he did bat the ball forward, but that wasn't really part of the question, so I apologize. He bats the ball rolls out of bounds at the 6-yard line.
So yes, forward. So
Yeah.
that's right.
So, all right, so we're at about 40% participation. This is a long,
I mean, just to confuse the issue, Team B bats the ball backward here, don't they? From their 16-yard line to their 6-yard line?
No,
Yes.
Team B is defending the goal, so it's going in from. I mean, when you're on. When
That is backward for Team B and forward for Team A.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
All right, we're at 4. I think
So I never should have said that one way or the other. My fault.
A few people are sitting on the sideline, or they're taking an extra long second to think about it. We're just now getting to 50% participation. Maybe try to have us get to 60% participation here. If I can get a few more people to click an answer.
And Bob, while I know the answer to this, I don't have a clear explanation, so you're gonna have to take this one.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, we are at.
I didn't even read the question, right?
We are at
Other than, go ahead.
70%. I'm going to end the poll and I'll share the results.
That's not what I was hoping to see.
Yeah. Okay, and here's the question. What's the basic spot on this play? I mean, Team B, A fumbles, right?
Oh, shit. You know what? I forgot you corrected me on this one, Jack.
The
My
spot
bad.
of the batting is a basic spot, right?
No, the spot.
Didn't the run end where the ball was where he fumbled the ball?
A fumbled.
Oh,
He
he fumbled at the
doesn't-
20.
So at the 20, right?
Yeah, so the basic spot
So
is the
that's
20.
That's where he's gonna go. That's a basic spot, no matter what, whether it's the 16 or 8 where he bats the ball, it doesn't matter. And so you would go back to the 20, go half the distance to the goal, repeat the down. Well, it gives them a first down, I guess. Right?
So, so for everybody's benefit, the official correct answer is
Go ahead.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, A.
Oh.
I couldn't wait any longer. Keep it
I
going.
thought Shane was trying to
No,
build some
no.
drama there.
no, I'm building drama for you. It is A, and again, I think, as far as everybody's kind of understanding, what is the basic spot, end of the run, because after that ball is fumbled, it's
The run is ended.
it's a loose ball. And so if you were to, and illegal batting is how many yard penalty?
10.
10. So legal batting, 10 yards. If you were to apply that penalty from the basic spot, which is in this case the end of the run, it would only end up netting that
At the
offensive team to the 10.
Yes.
He's clearly going to want it all the way down to the 6.
Yeah. So the question is, there is the issue about Team A declining the penalty. So take the ball at the 6. Now,
Let's
that's 6 or 16. I'm kind of trying to read my.
well,
6.
Jack, walk me through why the state then would have given you the choice.
You're asking
D.
me to explain the state?
No,
Yeah.
yeah, right. Well, choice D was the original correct answer. So they seem to think that the enforcement spot would have been at the spot of the bat at the 16, because choice D was the original correct answer.
Yeah, I always wondered why A wasn't the right answer anyway, but the
Well,
point
A is the right answer now. They corrected,
yeah,
but
uh,
So
mean,
Sam,
they seem to think that the spot of foul was the enforcement spot in this situation.
Right. So this question really tests our knowledge of
Penalty
where do you
enforcement.
enforce, one, what is the penalty for the illegal act?
What's the,
And then two, where do you apply that from? And that's really kind of what
what's
this
the,
question is
what's the
testing.
3
Now,
and 1?
Sam-
What's the 3 and 1
Sam had
principle?
a great point in the chat that I just want to bring up as far as when we're out there, we have however many number of people looking at us while we're kind of talking, is ask yourself, what is the result of the play? What happened on the play? What was the action? Incomplete pass, touchdown, run that ended at the 45, whatever the case is. Then ask yourself, what would be the result of the penalty enforcement? And
Right.
that's like, the quick and easy way of
What's
doing it.
the 3 and 1 principle says that, fouls by A behind the basic spot are enforced from that spot. And if they lose possession, that's the spot you're going to enforce the penalty from. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Robert, but I think that's with B fouls, that's not an A foul, it's a B foul. So it has to go from where A lost possession of the ball.
But was it a loose ball foul? Because the
Loose
foul
ball
took place
fouls occur
after the
behind the
ball.
basic spot, right? Or behind the line of scrimmage, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think through it, Jack. I agree that with everything you're saying.
All right.
I don't even agree with myself half the time with this.
So the answer is A for this one. It's a good one. I encourage everybody to look at those rule references that are on the PDF and take the time to kind of really read those and process this
So
one.
they changed this one?
They did.
They,
They
yeah,
did.
it was originally D.
Yeah.
Yep. The answer is A. The answer is A. So I'm going to move on to question number 11.
4th and 10 from Team K's 3-yard line. The snap bounces back to punter K1, who recovers the ball on one hop. K1 starts to run, comes to a sudden stop, and gets off a punt. R2 does not touch the ball and contacts K1 while K1's kicking foot is still in the air. The contact causes K1 to go to the ground. What do you got?
All right. We appear to be having consensus on this one.
This one kind of depends on how you picture it, really.
You
Mhm.
gotta see this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just because he's running, I mean, if he gets the kickoff and
Yeah, it doesn't take away all protection.
exactly.
Right. It's definitely a judgment call on this one. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to, but Bob, Tony, I'll let you guys go with the correct answer and all that kind of stuff. But I think the default thought process is that if they start to run, it's going to be assumed that they're a runner unless obviously proven otherwise, would be my thought process. But Bob, Tony, I'll let you guys explain that a little bit better.
You said it very well.
Yeah, no, I agree. But you can reestablish yourself as a kicker. So it just depends on what you're seeing. So if you feel like that person could have held up, you're perfectly justified calling roughing the kicker on.
Well, you wouldn't call roughing the kicker, you'd have a personal foul. Unnecessary roughness.
Okay.
After he kicked the ball,
If he becomes the kicker again.
yeah, if he kicks the ball, he's a kicker, right?
Yeah. And I think that's why, because the penalty for roughing the kicker can be so severe, meaning automatic first down, 15 yards, that kind of thing, that the minute that kicker turns into a runner, the
Benefit of the doubt for sure.
Yeah, the onus is going to be on that kicker making sure he has enough time to, or that runner has enough time to show that he's turned into a kicker again. And that's why, because of the severity of the penalty, once you turn into a runner, it takes a little bit to be turned back into a kicker, in my opinion.
Yeah, this one says, remember the question said, K1's kicking foot is still in the air. So that you really got to see this play. I don't think it's a very good question for a test, but
Yeah, it can be hard to kind of some of these judgment calls to get the application of, to test the rule knowledge, especially when
as
it's
long as we understand what we're looking at and
and the philosophy behind it.
yeah, exactly.
All right. Here's question
right.
number 12.
And question 12, I think everybody on this call can relate to this one. On a try from Team R's 3-yard line, the officials don't notice until after the play that Team R had 12 players on the field at the snap. The kick fails. After the ball is dead, K2 commits a personal foul. What do you got?
All right. Got 30% participation. People are clicking in. All right, here.
I think I submitted.
At the beginning, it was mixed, but now we're having some consensus. So I'm going to end the poll at this stage. About 2/3 have answered. Bob, Tony, how's that one look to you guys?
That's the correct answer for sure.
Yep, letter C is the correct answer.
And the reason for that is that the first penalty would be a live ball enforced as a dead ball. And then the other one occurred after that. So you've got 2 dead ball fouls. You go in order of occurrence. You go forward to the 1.5 yard line, then backwards 15, retry from the 16.5 yard line.
Yep. Those ones don't offset. All right. Question number 13.
Live ball dead.
Here we go.
Team A's ball 3rd and goal at Team B's 3-yard line. A1 fumbles at Team B's 2-yard line, and the ball rolls into the end zone. B2 recovers the ball in the end zone and tries to advance, but is tackled with the nose of the football in the field of play and the back of the ball still in the end zone. During B2's run, B3 clipped A4 at Team B's 6-yard line. What do you got? A lot going on there.
And making the kid do push-ups on the sideline for fumbling the ball and forcing us to have to apply this knowledge.
Right.
We're at about
There's a lot of rule references.
Yeah,
there.
a lot of rule references on this one. We are just over 50%, but we are having decent consensus on this answer, 60%, a couple more responses. All right, there we are, about 2/3.
Fair enough.
Tony, how's that one look to you guys?
That's the right answer. I'll rely on Bob to explain this one.
How about next?
Right.
720.
Yeah, here we
Two.
go. All right, so 13, the correct answer was C.
And this has got our favorite, one of our favorite topics, force.
Question number 14.
4th and 12 at Team K's 15-yard line. During a punt, K1 is flagged for holding at Team K's 22-yard line. R2 catches a kick at Team K's 40-yard line and advances to Team K's 10-yard line, where he fumbles. The ball rolls out of bounds at Team K's 2-yard line. The penalty will be enforced from
All right. People are thinking about this one. All right, we're about 56% here. A couple more people logging in. All right. About 2/3, and it looks like we have a mixed. Some mixed responses.
Whoa, yeah, that is mixed.
All right. So let's so first
we-
call.
We got PSK,
Yeah.
post scrimmage kick enforcement. That means choices, right? If it's on the kicking team.
Yeah.
And the one that
Is
benefits
it PSK?
it's not. Didn't during the punt, K1 is flagged for holding. That's not PSK.
It's a foul by K.
K foul, not B, or not R.
Gotta be our foul.
Yes.
Okay, well, we have
Not PSK.
You want me
Keep
to take
going,
it,
but it's
Tony?
not PSK.
Want me to take it, Tony?
yeah, please do.
The
Still got
penalty
the
for,
choices.
penalty for all K fouls can be enforced either at the previous spot or the spot where the ball belongs to team R.
Well said.
Yeah,
And the
that
logic
was-
for that rule is to try to cut down on the number of re-kicks and all that kind of a thing. So,
So the receiving team has the option here. They can, I mean, they've returned it to the 2, so clearly that's where they're going to enforce the penalty from. They won't back them up 10 yards and re-kick. They have an option. The option is obvious in this case.
right. I just said it wrong.
yeah. So the enforcement for this one would be
What the bottom's saying.
the dead ball spot
Good ball spot.
where it went out of bounds, letter D.
That's correct.
All right.
What you drinking, Jack?
What are you drinking?
Question 5th.
Where's
Question-
mine?
I don't know. It just appeared on my desk. I don't know what was in, I don't know what the bottle was.
Team K snaps the ball at Team R's 3-yard line. On a try, holder K1 muffs the snap. As the ball rolls on the ground, K1 bats it forward at Team R's 6-yard line. K2 recovers at R's 4-yard line and carries the ball across the goal line. What do you
Bad
got?
one. This is an easy one.
Let's see if it let's see if it's easy, Jack.
Yeah, well,
That's
shit.
what the polls are for.
It's a touchdown, right? Sure.
This is a democracy. Come on.
Right.
We're going to go with what the poll says. All right. And because the poll, I'm calling this election early. It was an easy question. The correct answer is C. I would assume, based on these results, there's not going to be too many questions with this one. So we'll move along. Number 16.
4th and 12 at Team K's 20-yard line. Punter K1 shanks the kick. K2 catches the kick behind the neutral zone and advances to Team K's 40-yard line. This should be an easy one too, I would think.
Mhm.
What do you got?
All these harder earlier questions, we're going to make up for it on the back end. It's
Right.
True and false.
Well, yeah, the last 5 are like boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
probably.
All right. Those questions are just on there to trip up those people who didn't see the rules meeting or put it on mute or something. All right. This one was an easy one as well, so I'm going to end it early. The answer is A. Legal play.
They can advance the kick. It's covered behind the ball.
All right. Question 17.
1st and 10 at Team A's 40-yard line. A1 sweeps right and is driven out of bounds at Team A's 49-yard line. During the run, A2 is flagged for holding at Team A's 37-yard line. After the penalty is enforced, what do you got? I like these only choice A and B. though.
I know it kind of simplifies things a little bit for us. All right, we're cracking on here. And again, I'm gonna pause this one early.
Yeah, no need for discussion there.
Based on what we've seen on video, I think the crews have a whole have a pretty good understanding of where holding is enforced from.
All right. Question 18.
I'm sorry, from where holding is enforced. Is that the better way to say it?
Sure,
No
why
one's
not?
no one's grading you tonight on your
All right.
grammar.
Question 18, 3rd and 5 at Team B's 20-yard line. B1 intercepts a forward pass at his own 3-yard line, and his momentum carries him into his end zone. While still in the end zone, he fumbles. The ball rolls forward until it goes out of bounds at Team B's 5-yard line. What do you got?
We had a momentum play Friday night. Fortunately, we didn't have that fumble and foul and any crazy stuff, but interception at the 4, tackled in the end zone.
Yeah, you'll see it.
Everybody will see it if they get into huddle on
Right.
Thursday afternoon.
Oh, good. That'll be a good one. And that's an important one for like the line for the near and deep wings, depending upon where they are when that interception occurs. All right. We're at 72% participation. I'll share the results here. How are we looking there? Tony,
Looks
Bob?
good. Yep. looks good.
Majority rules on that one, yes.
Yeah, in agreement there. Letter C. Letter C.
Basically, you can fumble forward.
Yeah. It's not like college or
Saturday.
anything where you bring it back to where the possession was lost, that assuming it wasn't a legal bat or something like that. All right, question 19.
Well, before you go on, remember that momentum is off once the ball leaves the end zone, right? So,
Right. So in other words, if the original momentum were to bring that player into the end zone with the possession,
and he's tackled there or stays there, takes a knee, whatever. I mean,
it's fine. But once he leaves that end zone for any reason,
Or the
by
ball leaves it.
definition,
Ball leaves the
momentum
end
is
case.
off.
once the ball leaves the end zone, then momentum is off.
19, 4th and 10 at Team K's 20-yard line. K1's punt is in flight and R2 is in position to catch the kick at Team K's 45-yard line. K3 is close to R2 but does not make contact. R2 must step around K3 to make the catch. R2 is downed at Team K's 43-yard line. What do you got?
Looks like we're doing okay on this one here. Question 19. I
have to have
will end the poll. All right, pretty good consensus on this one.
Oh,
Yep.
we are rocking and rolling. Good job, everybody.
All right, home stretch. Last 10 questions.
All right, question 20.
On 2nd down late in the game, A1 muffs the hand-to-hand snap, which rolls up his arm. A1 gains control of the ball, then throws it to the ground forward. What do you got? Now, Bob, what if he was like right at the line of scrimmage and he was outside of the tackle box?
Taking a hand-to-hand snap outside of the tackle box?
I'm just
That would be interesting for me.
Right.
I'm
There's a hook
gonna
shot.
end this one,
I
and
would
I
decline to
think
answer.
Tony,
I'm
you're
gonna-
confusing that with Saturday Little League. for Pete's sake.
Right.
So we had a decent response on this one. About 3/4 of us responded to this one, and about 25% said that's cool. What might be the language in the exception to like really help like lock this in for everybody.
Well,
If
the
you're,
one-
if you're gonna throw it to the ground, it needs to be a clean exchange.
You can't muff the ball. On the snap that comes back, it has to be handled cleanly by the passer. So the fact that he rolled up his arm or he dropped it on the ground or whatever the case may be after, so it wasn't clean, that takes his ability
Yeah.
to throw it away.
So I'll
To
read it.
spike it to conserve time.
I'll read it, quote, "The exception is, it is legal for a player positioned directly behind the snapper to conserve time," and that of course could be in a shotgun formation as well, "by
Yep, yep.
intentionally throwing the ball forward to the ground immediately after receiving the snap that has neither been muffed nor touched to the ground." And so it doesn't say that it has to be clean, but it can't be muffed. It can't be touched to the ground, and it has to be immediate. So by saying it's got to be clean,
Doesn't that
yeah,
define
technically that's
clean?
correct, but
Doesn't that define unclean?
it's that I only find that definition in church on Sundays, the definition of unclean. So with that said, we're going to be moving on. The correct answer is we're going to move on to question number 21.
And this one probably will generate some
Oh,
discussion.
this is a fun one.
This
Yeah.
this one was changed by the state after some hand wringing. 4th and 10 at the A6, QB
It really is.
drops back into the end zone with no eligible receiver open, starts to scramble towards the sideline. While outside of the free blocking zone, he throws a forward pass that falls incomplete at the A4. What do you got?
Everybody vote your conscience on this one. We might talk about this one for just a little bit longer than we have the most recent ones, but for those of you watching the clock, promise to have you out of here for sure before 8, and the remainder of the questions, I think a lot of them will go pretty quick.
Yep.
But yeah, this one probably won't go that quick.
Although, I mean, the answer to this one is by rule. It might be an unusual rule or a unique rule to high school, but it is by rule.
Right, looks like we've stalled out, and since we're probably going to have a conversation about this one anyway, I'm going to end the poll and share
As expected.
it. All right. So first of all, let's start with, you know, what the state is now saying is the correct answer. And for everybody's benefit, again, this came out from Will McCoy in that football bulletin email. And it says, after internal discussion here in the office, communication with the NFHS, and much discussion with other officials around the state, the correct answer is B. By NFHS rules, intentional grounding, illegal forward pass, is not considered a loose ball play. The result of the play leaves the ball in the end zone. Declining the penalty and taking the result of the play would leave the ball in the end zone. Therefore, there is no option by B to decline the penalty and take the ball from the previous spot, as the basic spot is the end of the related run for the running play.
Oh, that was actually accurate.
Well said, Shane.
Now, there is an option for B to decline this penalty,
Nope.
but they can't decline it and take the ball at the previous spot.
Nope, that's correct. It's going to be a,
Can't
was like-
imagine any scenario where B would decline the penalty.
Right. And what this question will also get you to think about is that you can only throw the ball away if you're trying to conserve yardage, not because you don't have somebody open. So whether you're inside or outside of the tackle box, whether you get the ball to the line of scrimmage or not, it's an illegal forward pass because you weren't you weren't getting rid of it to avoid getting tackled.
I might disagree with you there, Tony.
Mhm.
How's that?
With the exception, the new exception to intentionally ground the ball is based on the quarterback being under duress. So the quarterback can throw the ball away to avoid being tackled.
No, that's what I said. I said that in this situation, he's just didn't find a receiver open.
So
Oh,
Again,
oh,
so I'll read the exception real quick. It is legal for a player to conserve yardage by intentionally throwing an incomplete forward pass if the passer has been beyond the lateral boundary of the free blocking zone as established at the snap, and the pass reaches the neutral zone, including the extension beyond the sideline.
Which it didn't do, right?
But duress is not a high school condition, correct?
It does not. So now we're kind of
Well, the duress is implied because it's to conserve yardage.
yeah. So we're kind of getting into kind of philosophy and that subjective kind of thing, kind of like Tony's saying. It's implied, and usually if they're going to throw it away like that,
Well,
I mean, it's you're making a good point, but you know, I mean, we've all seen kids do things where you go, I have never seen that before. To have a quarterback who's standing in the backfield, just throw the ball away with nobody anywhere close to him about to tackle him, hasn't happened yet.
Tom Brady does it all the time. He throws it right at somebody's feet because he doesn't see somebody open, or there it's a screen pass and
But he
And-
never does. He
Yeah, but
never
the guy's
does it.
covered.
He's never thrown the ball like that when he's not about to be tackled.
And I think this is where it's helpful, much like, is he a runner or is he a kicker on one of the earlier questions, is what is going to be our default mindset? And I think in most
I
instances,
think that's what.
our
Shane
default
did.
mindset, especially if they make it outside that lateral boundary, I think the default mindset that most of us are going to have is that it was to conserve yardage,
The
most of the time.
The question here really though is, what made this an illegal forward pass? Okay. The fact that
Short of the line of
not
scrimmage.
that he threw it away, it just didn't get to the line of scrimmage, right?
Yes.
All right, let's.
Yep.
So,
Yep. So again, is that outside the lateral boundary? Great.
Yeah.
Had this got to the line of scrimmage, I think many of us would have
that's,
ruled.
we'd have given it to him.
oh,
right?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So-
and that's, I think, really what this rule is kind of teaching us. So somebody asked in the question, what is the correct answer? It's the letter is B.
What?
It's B,
B is in boy.
Yep,
boy.
yep. Because they can't decline the penalty, and by rule, it's an illegal forward pass, intentional grounding, because it doesn't reach the line of scrimmage.
And the
because
run,
they can't
and the
decline
run
it,
in, and the
it
run
has to
into
be
the
a
end zone.
safety, 2 points for B.
They could decline the 5 yards, but it's
The
not an
run still
incomplete,
ended
it's
in
not
the
an
end-
incomplete pass.
Yeah. I'm going to be nitpicky and say that they can decline the penalty. They won't ever. And this would be the same scenario if they were at the 20-yard line instead of in the end zone.
Let's
Okay.
say this play happens. I'm the white hat. I'm not giving the coach the option.
There you go.
We're going safety and we're moving on. And
Similar
speaking of
to the-
moving on,
And you're
Similar
adding
to the-
5 yards. You're gonna kick from the
that's right. and we'll
15-yard
apply the-
line.
And we'll apply the 5 yards
on the ensuing kickoff or
Um,
free
they-
kick
yeah,
from
on
the
free
20.
kick, from the 20. So they'd be kicking from the 15. All right. Question number 22.
These get
And-
easier.
Yeah, these get easier.
3rd and 10 at the A40. Team A is ahead in the 4th quarter with 2:53 remaining in the game. Although these two questions are kind of dumb actually. But A1 drops back and completes a forward pass to receiver A2 at the A48. During the pass, offensive tackle A4 held B4 at the line of scrimmage. What do you got?
there should be an E. This is a stupid question.
Yes, I agree 100%. I think we
Let
already
me
talked about
rephrase.
And
It's
number
a
number
poorly
23 is
worded
worse.
question.
22 and 23 are,
23 is worse though.
Yeah.
So let's just give
23 is
let's
worse.
just give the
Yeah.
correct answers for these and move on because they-
Right. So again, for this one and the next question, we're at half and we got pretty good consensus here. Again, the reason why I think they made these two questions is because they wanted to emphasize a particular point
yes.
about
Did
how
a
much
poor
time
job.
is remaining in the half of the game. So when you read these two questions back to back, that's what they're emphasizing here. And
Thank you, Shane.
I think all of us are
And
gonna,
everybody got the question right anyways, basically.
yeah, most of us got this one right. The correct answer is letter A. And
go ahead.
because they're kind of paired together, let's launch
I mean,
question number
they use
23.
the wrong words. They're using will on here too, in this one, because it's the offended team, right?
None of that's held, so it's still the line of scrimmage. So third
Isn't this,
20 at the,
I mean,
Hold
isn't this,
on. We got a few people kind of talking all at one time.
it'll start when they decide it starts.
Yeah, they have a choice.
Yeah.
And using the word will screwed me up, you know, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
They can, the team A, B's ahead. In this case,
So again, what they're trying to
What should be
emphasize here
made?
with these two questions again is,
What are the real options here?
right, what are the
Yeah.
options? And because this was a recent rule change this year, it's not the end of the game, it's the end of the half. And in one scenario,
doesn't matter.
it's before the 2-minute mark, and the other scenario is after the 2-minute mark in the first half. That's the point they're trying to drive home.
Is that
That in these scenarios, the offended team will have a clock option. And so that's why they use that phrasing of the word will. And with that said, I'm ending the poll, sharing it.
So let's not get hung up on the poor wording of the question
Right.
to miss the point of the question.
right?
don't they have the option,
Yeah,
The
A or B?
Correct.
well,
They do. But it just depends if you're
Actually-
conservative or not conservative, really.
actually here, Dave, we don't know because we don't know what the result of the play is.
Oh, that's true too.
If this play,
He went out of bounds, yeah.
if this play ended out of bounds,
They would,
there's no option.
that's correct.
If this play, ended in bounds, of course there is.
And that's kind of an important point when you're talking about that choice at the end of a quarter and a half. If by rule, the previous play ended with a dead, dead clock, they don't have that
Yeah.
choice anymore.
You can't start a you can't start a
There you
dead
go.
clock. You can
Well,
stop a live clock.
Yep.
Yes.
But let's assume, because of the way we know the question is worded, that the pass was completed inbounds. The offended team is going to want to do what?
Yeah, and that's where it's difficult. Is what do they want to do? I don't know. I'm not the coach.
Exactly. They're making us guess on 4 or 5 of these questions, and
Well,
it's not right.
Let me ask the question in a different way. What is the correct answer on the MHSA exam for those?
B.
It is
The correct
B.
answer is B. And let's
A
go
or
on.
B.
Right.
Well-
Again, I agree, like what's the coach going to do, not going to do, all that kind of thing. I think we can make some safe assumptions most of the time and give a quick double check. Coach, you want to wind the clock, right? Okay, good. Here we go. But again, the point was first half, it's under 2 minutes. One scenario, they have the option. The other scenario, they don't. All right.
All right, let's get 100 on this next one, guys.
24.
Both the numbers 00 and 00 are legal this season. Yes or no, true or false?
I almost answered
Yeah, don't do it.
incorrect-
Yeah. I know, right?
incorrectly. on
Check it
purpose.
before you
All
submit it.
right. 17 seconds in, ending the poll.
All right.
It's 60%.
There we
There you
go.
go.
100%.
So 0 is legal, 00 is not.
Thank you.
All right.
Last year, 0 was illegal, and I saw 2 teams with 0.
Yep.
Mott's
They
been
flip.
trying to do that for years.
Real quickly, by the way, quick an aside, I don't know if anybody else has had this happen, but for one of our games, the first game of the year, all the team on the back of the jersey was wearing the word family.
Oh, you're right, Groves.
Yep, so our referee had to write a quick email, family on the back of the jersey, go sort it out. So haven't
They
seen
know.
it since then, but
Yeah,
it was the
that-
first
well,
week of the season.
And Groves knows.
Yep.
They did it anyways.
Yeah, the
So-
home team is responsible for ensuring they wear a dark colored jersey that clearly contrasts the white visitor team jersey by rule. True or false?
This is another one that the state has incorrect by rule.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go with their answer.
Okay, so we got good consensus on this. I'll end it. So Bob, real quickly, what do you mean by rule the state has the answer? Now, again, for those of us clicking on the answer is A when you go in and take the test on the MHS website. But Bob, why do you say that technically by rule they don't have the correct answer?
Because the rule book says that the visiting team is responsible for avoidance of similarity of colors. It just, the rule book says the visiting team is responsible. Although if the visiting team shows up with the wrong color, then we're supposed to ask the home team to change. So ultimately, we're asking the home team to be responsible, but by rule in the rule book, it says the visiting team is responsible. I didn't fight with Will on this one. I just,
Just write an email if there's a problem.
They had more
That's-
slides on this one than they did for intentional
Right.
grounding change.
All right. Home stretch, question number 26.
If B1 touches the pass after it leaves the passer's hand, all Team A ineligibles remain ineligible. This should be another quick poll.
That should be an easy one.
What do you do if you're the umpire? Make
Woo.
that little signal.
I look down at my paper, I look back up, and everybody's answered. Almost everybody. Enough. The answer is B as in boy.
This one I had to actually look up. It's next-
Oh, yeah.
These are
It is-
some,
I
these
have
are some
never
where you
seen
just
this
want to
one.
double check, you know?
Yeah, you're like, is this a trick question? or
It's,
what?
it's
Yeah.
almost too easy.
Right.
All right, here we go. Question number
Actually
27.
reads it though.
It is possible for the team that just successfully scored a field goal to immediately receive the next kickoff. True or false?
crazy, huh?
You're never gonna see it. Well, maybe, yeah, probably never.
I was sitting here trying to imagine a scenario where I might see this.
Well, yeah, a team who's
'Cause if
ahead
it-
by
if it-
50, and then we're not gonna allow it because we want that clock to run.
Or if it's super bad weather, but how are you gonna kick? Why would you kick a field goal if it's super bad weather? I don't know. So
All right, so with that said, so we got good responses. Sharing results.
Oh, okay.
the answer is true. It is possible, but you probably won't see it.
Yeah, not
Why are they
surprising.
unlike-
that-
Don't even ask unless they
Yeah.
come up to you and tell you.
Yeah,
But
so
it-
this is one of those scenarios, and Bob, you had a great example. I don't know where you got it. I think it was last year where we actually had on film a high school team attempting a field goal in a free kick formation after a fair catch. After, and
Around forever.
right, and you don't see it very often, but this is one of those scenarios where you just kind of want to know it's out there, that it exists, but not to stress about it.
There you go.
It's probably not even worth it being on the test, but okay.
Well, exactly. So this is one of those where you may ref football for 40 years and you might not ever see this, but just know it exists.
I'd say it's likely you'll never see
Well, how
Yeah.
about 50?
it.
All right.
All right, ask Jim Valier. He's online
Yeah.
somewhere.
The penultimate question, number 28. The previous answer was, of course, letter A.
When the clock is stopped after a foul to administer a penalty, and Team B is the only team to foul, the play clock will be set to 40 seconds at the option of Team A.
Trick question, eh?
Yeah, it's tricky.
I don't remember the actual references on this one.
All right. Got a few more people.
Oh, now I remember.
Okay, yep.
Right now I know what the explanation is.
All right.
Because I looked at it, I was like, wait a second.
Here we are. We are at 2/3 participation.
It was in my email, Tony.
Yeah.
Remember?
Right. No. Now I remember, Jack. It's just funny because I was like, wait a second. Because I looked at the answer and I was like, hold on a second. And then I was like, oh, okay. Got it.
All right. So let's talk us through this one. Let's imagine a scenario where Team A is trying to get every second off the clock. And they really want that 40-second play clock instead of a 25-second play clock. What's the correct answer here?
The answer is the same.
They're going to get what they want, but not because they want it.
When B
What is the
fouls,
poll result?
when B fouls, the play clock goes to 40 seconds.
Period.
Right. So in other words,
Anytime during the game.
right. So in other words, the correct answer to this is false
That is correct.
because Team A doesn't have the option.
Right.
It
Exactly.
just goes. So
That's why I looked at it sideways when I saw it come back up. And I was like, wait a second. Oh, okay. Now I know why.
this is one, to be perfectly honest, I got wrong on my first test through because I was reading a little too quick. And it's the key word here is option. There is no option. Team B fouls. They're the only one to foul. You know, the defense that goes to play clock 40.
That's correct.
Yeah. No, there is no option.
And the last one, the visiting team shows up wearing their dark colored jerseys, while the home team is wearing dark colored jerseys also. The visiting team forfeits a contest unless the home team can change into white jerseys before the contest begins. What do you got?
So can't we ask the home team to do that? But what if they don't want to? Is that when they can?
You can ask them whatever you like. The question is, I mean, you would want them to change. You'd ask them to change, but do you forfeit the game if neither team will? If both teams have, like, they say, "Wow, we can't do it. This is all we got." Do you forfeit the game? And the answer is, show the poll.
Oh, thanks.
Shirts and skins.
Oh, it's closer than I thought it would be. Now, remember, this is the one where Will was very clear. Play the game, send me an email.
That's a them problem.
So even though it'll be a pain in the butt, just play the game, but send an email and let them worry about it.
And when the visiting team yells at you for not being sure which team the penalty was on,
Right.
you can say sorry.
Can we go back to 3 and agree with what answer we're going to
3?
put on that? 10 yards versus 15 yards, as we're talking about blocking the back penalty versus a block after a fair catch, 15 yards.
The answer for the state question is different than what we should do on the field.
Yep. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was the one where
basically the state admitted that they tried to trick you too much. And they're gonna let
They tricked
the
themselves.
10-yard penalty for a block in the back be correct. But if a player gives a fair catch signal and then blocks, the penalty is 15 yards.
You got it.
Right. So the reason why they're letting everybody have B as the correct answer is because they misreferenced, I think, the rule and some other things, and it kind of confused everybody and caused a lot of people to get it wrong. And so they were just kind of saying mea culpa, it's B's correct, that kind of stuff. But technically by rule, it's 15-yard penalty.
I think that's a cop out.
Yeah.
I mean,
You actually let him get it wrong.
I'll even adjust what Shane said, as opposed to technically. It's not technically 15 yards. It is 15 yards.
That's correct.
In how many ways can you write 2nd and 10 on one test, for Pete's sakes?
Yeah.
They have it represented 3 different ways. That got
Well, I guess there's the answer. It's 3.
All right. It's top of the hour. It's 8 o'clock. Bob, I'm assuming you're watching a lot of film. Any parting themes or anything that you've noticed? Have you heard anything about coaches having the players keeping those knee pads down below the knees and getting the shirts to tuck in and all that?
Yeah. Let's just remind the players to tuck their shirts in as much as we can.
Yeah.
We're not sending anybody out for that. Anybody who wants to talk about a rule, wants to talk about a play, email, text, call me anytime. If I happen to be on the golf course, I will get back with you. But other than that, I'm happy to talk about this anytime you want.
Yeah. Tony, any parting thoughts, any words?
No, I think that the players are doing a much better job with the knees this year than in past years. So this whatever the state's doing is working. Just let them worry about it more than us. Although let's just keep talking to them.
Can I add one thing, please?
Jack, go ahead.
I've noticed that a lot of our crews are not consistently giving the dead ball signal at the end of plays. Watched a lot of games. Once in a while, it's not a convenience. When the ball becomes dead on a scrimmage play, raise your hand. Okay, get used to it.
Yeah. And again,
When you go on to college next year, you'll have to raise your hand too. Okay.
So again, what this is, so in other words, if the clock is still live and you're like a near wing, just one single hand up, and that is a signal to the clock keeper. Go ahead, start that 40 seconds, but it's also a way to let everybody know, hey, the play is visually, done. Or if you got to kill it, that's a visual signal to that clock keeper, way up in the stands who isn't there on the field with you. So, great point.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
Can we real quick about the no grounding and not having an illegal man downfield?
Yeah, we will, if we have legal intentional grounding, so that the quarterback who's out of the pocket and gets the ball to the line of scrimmage, if we have ineligible players downfield, we will not have a flag for those ineligible players downfield.
Will not.
Correct.
So if somebody throws the flag, they pick it up.
Yep, we'll absolutely pick it up. Yep, he legally threw that ball away. We're not going to penalize them for having ineligible players downfield.
That will be a hard one for the near wings, because by instinct, we see, I'm a line judge, I just happen to know this, we have, a big fella 5 yards downfield, and it's an intentionally thrown away ball. Usually that flag's coming out, and then you have a quick conversation with the referee, that kind of thing to sort it out.
Yeah, Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
No problem to waive that off.
Just a question that was a little bit, this email had a lot of stuff in it, but one of them, it talks about a knee brace being entirely covered by the pants. I've never seen a knee brace covered by the pants.
I agree.
And so we're
As
just,
long as the pants still cover the knee. So in other words, so the knee, if the knee brace isn't completely outside of so as long as the entire knee brace isn't over the pants, we're fine.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this just says any portion of any knee brace that does not extend below the pants, which is impossible because
Yeah,
you can't
absolutely.
grab onto the leg.
No.
Okay, good.
So I appreciate everybody kind of staying on. Again, our next meeting, which is going to be in person. And again, like us on Facebook, go to, our website, Metro Detroit athleticofficials.com. For this, we keep it updated, but the next meeting and last football meeting in person, October 11th, 6:30 p.m. in the Little Theater at Groves. With that said, again, I appreciate everybody logging on. We had good attendance, 50 people. I'll let you all go. I'm going to stop recording and I'm going to hang out for just a couple minutes if anybody has any kind of MHSAA page, web questions, that kind of thing. But otherwise, thanks very much.
Thank you, Shane.